Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Unintangibles. I am your host, Mo Aurora, and once again, I'm glad to be back. It feels like I've been away forever. I've been sick for far too long, but I think I'm good now. So it's good to be back, but it's good to be back with all of you, and thank you for joining us, and thank you to this man I'm about to introduce for carrying us for the last little while. My co-host, Jeff Shuella. Hello, thank you.
Welcome back. We missed you. We had a great call with Bruno last week.
Yeah. Everybody else that comes on the show is like better than I am. So.
Well, he's a Giants fan, and so the G-men are playing the Falcons in about a couple hours, so that should be fantastic. I'm
actually going to be going up against some Giants tonight. Basically, I think I've won in my home league, and then my other two, I'm up in one, but going up, and I have Evan Engram going up against Barkley, and I'm going up against Bruno, so I'm going up against Barkley and Beckham, and I have Engram, and a pretty big lead. But then in my other league, I'm a little bit. Sorry,
your lead's like more than 20 points, right?
Yeah, it's like 30, but like Barkley and Beckham, that's pretty big, right? And Engram can keep me about, right? Yeah. And then in my third league, I'm down by a little bit. I have Engram, and I'm up against Barkley. And so I'm probably going to lose that one. But I'll probably go 1-1. I could go 0-2. I could go 2-0. So
okay. I'm pretty sure you'll get at least one victory here and possibly two. So
yeah. So I'm interested. I'm interested in the Falcons because it's my home team now. But I'm interested in the Giants individually for a variety of fantasy reasons.
Yeah, would you consider going to the game? I mean, how far are you from the stadium?
I'm not very far from the stadium. I can see it from my backyard, but I don't know. Pick the spots. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to the game. Maybe to see Barkley, but maybe if I'd been healthy the last 2 weeks. But since I haven't really been thinking about going to games. I usually go to maybe one a year, one, maybe two. I did just go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, though not for a game. But, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah. I think for Barkley, it would have been worth going to. I mean, I used to go watch Barry Sanders play at the Pontiac Silverdome. I saw him live at least 3-4 times.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the same experience watching it live as it is watching on TV, but you can't appreciate a guy of the Barry Sanders, Saquon ilk. I mean, I have him in the same category, but
it would be great to see Barkley in person. I think because I usually go to one, maybe two games a year, I try to save it for a divisional game just because the atmosphere will be really cool, and I don't know, but I'll be watching, and I'm excited. How about you, though? How's your fantasy week gone?
Pretty good in our league. I'm now 2-5 after 0-5, so I've bounced back with a couple wins.
Yeah.
And the FFPC I've already lost, and it looks like I've lost Sony Michel for a while, so that is not great.
Maybe, but I've been seeing headlines that it's not as bad as feared, so hopefully there's some good news in there. It won't be that bad.
The bright side for both of us is that FFPC, I was rostering Nick Chubb, so I can use him, and you have him in our home league. So good news on the Chubb front.
Yeah, I've actually been getting a couple of trade offers for him.
In our league?
Yeah. I'm holding off for now. I held off so far anyway. I probably do need to make a move at some point, but I just still want to get through the bye weeks, and also – I've had my season's going very well so far, right? But like I have a good team, but I've also been very lucky, and I don't expect. I expect my good players to remain good players, but I don't expect my luck to be this good the whole season. So I kind of want to just, mitigate whatever may happen yet. I'm just sort of don't want to rock the boat.
What kind of luck are we talking in our league? I mean, just the opponent?
Injuries are the big one. Injuries are just Russian roulette that we're all playing, right? You got any player you have on your team, you got to be prepared to lose in an instant, for the rest of the season. That's just the harsh nature of it, But right now, it seems like I have 4 running backs I can start, which is
You have elite RBs though. You have Gurley, Kamara, Chubb, and there's a fourth guy.
Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, I mean that's one guy I wanted to talk about for sure. I mean, I feel like the Lions. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, so it's but they came out of the bye. And it looks like that they really do want to establish the run. I mean, I know the offensive line is great, and I know Stafford's still going to get his passing attempts because every quarterback usually does. But I feel like they made a concerted effort during the bye to maybe reestablish their identity because I felt like as a Lions fan, I didn't really know what their identity was, but I know they had pieces in place to be a running team with a nice offensive line. So I have good feelings about Kerryon going forward if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I think they've been careful and patient with bringing him along, and Blunt has been pretty effective all year, and he's still been really effective, even though they seem to be saying, "All right, Kerryon, you're the guy." We still got Blunt though, and he's not. And Blunt's not just vulturing touchdowns, man. He's like averaging 7 yards a rush and stuff. Like they are a running team now, and Kerryon's been really good. It's sort of I can't complain. Like when I've had him in my lineup these last 2 weeks, the last two times I've had him in my lineup, and he's had good games. I don't, but it's frustrating that he's getting all these a lot of yards, no touchdowns. Not just because Blunt is vulturing from him, but also because he manages to break off a 70-yard run, but like too deep on his side of the field. He's on 20, 30-yard runs, but they're from the 40 and 50-yard lines, and it's like, man, if he could just like be further downfield when they call that play, and take to the house, he'll have a couple touchdowns right now. So
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction because not that I'm 1 for 1, but I definitely called the Leonard Fournette injury in preseason that I thought he would be the guy going down. I have a feeling the Patriots and Lions are going to make a trade. I think LeGarrette Blount may either go back to New England because, Patricia has, ties with the Patriots. Yeah. They've made trades before. I could also see the Lions trading Amir Abdullah to the Patriots just as some sort of insurance. I don't know how, not that he's like a banger at all in the Jeremy Hill ilk.
He's just another guy.
Amir Abdullah is a guy who has had talent. He's an elusive running back. I feel like the Lions have been privately shopping him for a year now at least. And I feel that the Patriots and Lions, I feel like the Lions just have one too many running backs on their roster. So I could see the Patriots and Lions making a trade here. Is that crazy?
Although with Riddick being hurt, I think that slows that down a little bit, because maybe if that's the case, maybe that's why they're still giving Blunt 8 really productive carries, because maybe that means Kerryon's going to start catching 3-4 passes a game now because he needs to be the one who does Riddick stuff and he can still carry the ball, And I mean, yeah, those are both pretty decent ideas. One thing that I saw, which I don't take too seriously, but he's just one of those he's one of those fantasy football in honor of Halloween. Michael Myers, you know what I mean? He just keeps coming back from the dead, is Mike Gillislee. Apparently he's been in touch with the Patriots.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, if the Patriots had a choice between Mike Gillislee again or, turning Amir Abdullah into a reclamation project, I would think in a vacuum, maybe you'd pick Abdullah over Gillislee. But they already have a pretty sizable reclamation project in Josh Gordon. I don't know if you can necessarily devote extra attention and possibly chase a sunk cost for 2 players. You know what I mean? And they're already being really careful with Gordon. They started to kind of open him up, but I think there's still plenty more that he has to offer. But it's a lot, man. It's a lot to have to do. I think I can see them making a trade. Because trades, I feel like, are back on the table in today's NFL, which is cool. But
definitely. And we'll get into the Amari Cooper trade in a second. I just pick up on your Josh Gordon comment. I'm not sure if you watched the Patriots game or any of his catches, but I noticed it for sure. And Christopher Harris pointed out on his podcast today that, Gordon's not running away from anyone. I don't know if he's actually 100% healthy right now. And I feel like most of his business has been just catching balls in the air yards, and he's not really separating himself with anyone. But obviously it's not a concern with Brady. He's still looking to Gordon now in big situations. So
yeah, I saw that big play that he had where he kind of Well, yeah, he got caught. He didn't make it to the goal line. He sort of, but like that look, he did not look fast on that play, but he did. It looked more like he ran out of gas because he was open downfield.
Yeah.
And he had a lot to do on that. He bounced off somebody. He makes somebody miss. Like he kind of carried guys down, not quite to the goal line, but from like the 5 to the 2 or whatever. Like I think he just ran out of gas. I think that has more to do with his time away than his hamstring. Because I think I was worried that he got hurt on that play. You know, I was worried that he made the catch, bounced off those guys right afterwards, and his hamstring was hurt, and he was like limping down the field. So, which is to say, that's how slow he was going. But he really did just look like he was out of gas.
Yeah,
and I think that was the most work that he got, and it would make sense that he would be out of gas a little bit. You know,
I'm now looking forward. I know Gronk will probably be back this week, but as a Josh Gordon owner and you talking me into getting him, I'm finally excited and confident to start him in my lineup now. But it took 7 weeks.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, and I would be a little bit more smug about it if it only took 3 or 4 weeks. But I mean, I am too, man. I am Josh Gordon, and I'm happy to have him in my lineup now. And I feel like I don't know, it's not bad. If you could have lasted this long, and if you could have managed your Josh Gordon ownership till now, you can benefit. Sticking with that New England Chicago game, though, I will say I would pay close attention to Mitch Trubisky, and I gotta say. So he is very willing, and he is athletic enough that like it's good. He gets points with his legs and stuff. I did not like what I saw from him throwing the ball.
No.
And he had a particularly bad game, but it wasn't the first time I've seen him because I caught him in the Chicago-Seattle game earlier in the season, and I saw the same thing, which is they talk about him like he has a big arm, but like maybe he does at a combine, but like in at game speed, he does not, man. He was underthrowing guys constantly. Like he just didn't have the arm to like get it to him. He threw an interception on one of those plays where he's running towards the line of scrimmage and the receiver's coming back to him. So you really got to just zip it in like a dart, right? But he didn't throw a dart. He just threw it. And the DB had time in this lightning quick play. It wasn't lightning quick. This DB had time to reach over and intercept it because he didn't have the arm strength. He would then lob passes and sail them over people's heads. Like he can't make the throws. I have a feeling he's the opposite of he's similar to Blake Bortles, but not quite in that with Bortles, it's sort of like, why do you make that throw? With Trubisky, it's like, oh, you can't make that throw. Mm-hmm. But they can run the ball. They're in pretty good offenses, surrounded by pretty decent talent. You know, they're probably going to get a lot of garbage points and empty calories, but like, and those count. But I'm not confident. If I'm a Trubisky owner, I was even just as a fan and wanting another good quarterback in the league, not confident that Trubisky is one.
I think he's the current day Colin Kaepernick. He's today's Colin Kaepernick in a Mitch Trubisky outfit.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. If you look at the stat lines, yeah. That's a good way to put it, you know?
What's funny about watching the Bears, and I know Matt Nagy, man, like, okay, sure, like everyone says he's got a great offensive mind, all this. You know how many, like, illegal formation penalties they've had this year, like lining up, they have issues. I just feel like if I'm a Bears fan, I got to be frustrated with the play calling in the sense that I think he's just trying to be too cute, man. I mean, even at the 1 yard line, you'll have, at the goal, they'll have Jordan Howard there, but then they'll just like do like 3 fakes and then like throw to Trey Burton, like just something just so fancy that doesn't need to be fancy. Just pound it.
Yeah. But I think that's just a new coach thing. You know what I mean? Like they're making a lot of these calls for the first time. You know, there's probably plays that he's drawn up before, but now he's the one who's trying to teach it to the team, stuff like that. Like there are things that are just learning curve. You're right, though. You're right.
When you're at the one, let's not do an end around to Taylor Gabriel or whatever. Let's just pound it in with Howard for 1 yard. You know, it's
almost like he's trying to coach for the memes. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to he wants the team to be. He wants the Bears to be the team that has a bunch of clips. You know what I mean? Like he's sick of all this Philly special and this team doing that. And he's like, no, we got plays. And maybe, I don't know. I honestly think it's just yeah, there's a learning curve, just trial and error and stuff like that. And he seems to be more of a risk seeker than a risk averse new coach. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
he's trying to be Sean McVay. He wants to be McVay, but he doesn't have the personnel.
Maybe, and hey, maybe there's pressure on these guys to be McVay now. You know?
Well, I'd like to maybe mention two subjects just on my end. First is maybe not the biggest fantasy surprise, but I feel like they're quietly doing okay. And I know they just played the Bills this week, but Andrew Luck's been pretty awesome in fantasy.
Yeah, Indianapolis, yeah.
And the Colts, I mean, I don't know if Marlon Mack is a thing now. He had a huge game.
Yeah.
There's still a few too many people in the backfield, but T.Y. Hilton got unleashed. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can stream an Indy tight end if on a bye week and feel decent about it that you'll get 6 points for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Swoop or Eric Ebron, obviously Ebron's starting and everywhere. But what are your thoughts?
Tight end or a receiver?
Ebron's a tight end.
Swoop, I'm saying.
Swoop's a tight end.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. I thought I saw that he was receiver, but we'll have to look into that.
He could have a double designation, but I'm pretty sure he's a tight end. And do you think the Colts have viable fantasy options now going forward? And what are your thoughts on Luck?
I agree with pretty much everything you say. I mean, all those guys are. Yeah, I mean, you don't have a choice to not believe in Marlon Mack. He's a starting running back on Andrew Luck's offense. You go with him, and you know, Hines, I think, is involved more than Wilkins, but like neither of those guys are enough for you to think that like they don't make Marlon Mack a mirage. You know what I mean? Like he may not be as good as he was every week, but yeah, he's the guy there. Luck is getting more like Luck all the time. Hilton's being Hilton. Ebron is still, and Swoop, whatever position he is. They've both been contributing. Like these guys, I've been starting Ebron as my tight end in my home league because I don't have Engram. By the way, I have Engram in all 3 leagues now. I don't know how that happened. He got dropped in my 3rd league. That's why. But I've been starting Ebron. And I've been getting away with it. I'm looking forward to Engram coming back. But like, yeah, Ebron's been serviceable.
Is Marlon Mack an RB1 at all going forward to finish the back end of the season? Any chance of that, or maybe a high end too?
Chance. Of course, there's a chance because if we're saying there are 12 RB1s, well, there's only 8 RB1s, but 12 of them have to be RB1s. So yeah.
Couple hours ago, Amari Cooper got traded to the Cowboys.
That's right, for a first-round pick.
For a first-round pick, I just feel like it's 2 moronic franchises just making a trade here.
I agree completely. There wasn't a potential receiver better than Amari Cooper available in the draft next year in the first round. Well, Amari Cooper's not that good. You know, I don't know. I don't think he is. I don't think Dallas is the team to make him better.
I don't know, man. Like, okay, so he had one crazy season. Didn't he have over 1,500 yards one year? But he was really in Crabtree's shadow for a few years.
Why, if he was that good, why would he have been in a possession receiver's shadow?
Yeah.
Right? Like, also, Derek Carr had one good year, right? So it might not have even been Cooper's good year. He might have just been a symptom of another guy's good year. I don't think Dallas is a situation for him to go and like get better. I think Dak's okay, but like, so which means Cooper can be okay. Like I feel like Cooper's just like descending into like the like Devin Funchess, Calvin Benjamins. Like he's just like, well, you know, at any given point, like the situation could be good and he's got a good matchup, sure. But like he's just a guy. Like I don't know.
No more. He's not going to be fantasy relevant. He doesn't have an uptick in his stock at all.
Look, if you have Cooper and somebody else in your league is excited by the news, then try to trade him.
What about Prescott? Does this help his fantasy value?
I guess, but isn't he just a streamer anyway?
Yeah, he is. He is a streamer. He definitely is a streamer. But I guess this doesn't hurt the situation. We will find out, you know, I mean, I know it takes a while for receivers, especially to adjust to new teams and new systems, but if Amari Cooper has these physical abilities that, you know, everyone thinks he has, this is going to be his chance to shine. There's really no competition. Not that there wasn't Oakland, to be honest. But
Hearns is looking okay sometimes, and Gallup is looking okay sometimes. Between the two of them, they seem to be amounting to one decent receiver, production-wise. But no, like it's not. I'm not. Hopefully, it helps Zeke, if anything. That would be good.
Yeah.
How about on the Oakland side? Is there any good news for anybody fantasy wise?
No, I don't think so. Marshawn looks like he's out for a month.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to help Carr. I don't think this is going to help anybody. Jordy Nelson, no, I don't think so.
Bryant, Jared Cook.
This will help Jared Cook, actually.
You know what I think is going to help? You know what I think is going to help, and I can hold my breath and hope that actually makes him relevant, is Jalen Richard.
Yeah, I think Jalen Richard, it could definitely help. I think he's the running back to maybe own over Doug Martin.
I think so. I'll tell you, I've been in my home league where I've been suffering Derrick Henry as my RB2 with nobody good behind him. I have had for a while Doug Martin and Jalen Richard, and Martin has just not been good, and Lynch had been fine, and Richard had been coming up with 5 catches, 56 yards kind of games, but like no touchdowns and nothing on the ground. And it's like, and I play standard, and it's not PPR, so it's like that's not good enough. Like if I'm going to settle for 5 points from Richard, I might as well roll the dice on Henry another week, right? Now, and then last week I got sick of Doug Martin and decided that Richard was better than Martin. Dropped Doug Martin for Albert Wilson, who then got hurt. Useless move. The next day after I dropped Doug Martin, Marshawn Lynch is hurt.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be okay because I have Richard. I think he's the guy to own.
But we know the Raiders are moronic, man. We know that John Gruden has a thing for Doug Martin, and I think you make sense because you're a rational thinker, but John Gruden is not.
John Gruden has not done a very good job coaching, and he does not get the benefit of the doubt as far as the learning curve goes. You know what I mean? Like
I don't see Doug Martin will not get 15 touches a game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Look, Martin, I'm sure will have a role, just because those kind of plays, like sort of I formation plays, are good for just stabilizing a shaky offense, right? So he'll do that. I don't think he will suddenly start playing very well. And I don't think that Richard's going to become a viable fantasy starter, but I'm saying if anyone can, he could. And he's already like on the verge. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Richard might be a sneaky pickup if he's available in your league, I would say. Yeah, I don't think he is anymore.
Especially in PPR, he could be very good. We have reached the 20-minute mark of our podcast. Any final thoughts or anything you wanted to bring up on this one?
Let me think. No, I'm not sure. I think look, my teams are all, they're not perfect, but I'm generally doing okay, doing mostly what I've been saying to do all year. So like I feel like there's nothing new for me to say right now, How about you? We're coming up on halfway through the season.
Yeah.
It's been up and down for you overall. But how do you feel?
Well, I'm holding tight with what I have on my teams because I know that everything turns around eventually. These players are like a player. Like I have Keenan Allen on my team, right? Keenan's going to come around. He's going to come around. I'm not worried about him. Who else? Jameis has been helping me out on my roster. I think he'll just keep racking up fantasy points. But besides that, nothing surprises me anymore in fantasy. Although I will say Adam Thielen's been awesome.
Yeah. That's so I own Diggs as well, and I'm generally still happy with how Diggs has been. But like the last few weeks, he's had these games where it's like, and even yesterday, it's like he's got 8 catches for 33 yards or whatever, right? And I'm like, he's active, he's busy, and like him doing all that stuff helps the whole offense, and it helps Murray, and it helps Thielen down the field and stuff like that, right? And it's like he's perfectly happy doing that, I'm sure. Stefon Diggs is having a good season.
It's just you can be worried as a Diggs owner. He's going to get his for sure, and maybe even
right. It's just funny because there are moments where I'm sitting there like, man, I don't need another Derrick Henry in my lineup, but that's what I'm getting,
It's been. I think it's safe to say that Latavius has been the running back to own as a handcuff so far in fantasy. Maybe Eckler is the number 2 guy. But besides that, don't have any Bills, don't have any Titans on your rosters, and that's then you should be good. And probably not any Jaguars at this point either. So
okay, you think so? So you don't? Okay, there's a lot of Jaguars in the mix here because we have Carlos Hyde, you have Fournette, maybe, and if not, you may still have Yeldon. There's 2 of those guys are going to be the running back for Jacksonville for the rest of the year. How do you think that works out? You don't think it'll be worth it?
I'd rather own Bears than Jaguars.
Really? Okay.
I know that's weird. I know that sounds weird. And it doesn't help that the Bears are right on shotgun at the 1 yard line. They should be lining up under center, but
Jordan Howard keeps fumbling at the 1. So what are you going to do, right?
I think the quarterbacking is so bad in Jacksonville that I don't know. I think Leonard Fournette could make a difference. I don't know how much of a difference he's going to make for the rest of the year, though, just based on his health.
Well, I'm just trying to think. So I'm just trying to understand this move, right? Because obviously, if Fournette's seriously hurt for the rest of the year, then you bring a guy like Hyde in. All right, he's already like an RB1. Like, great. Once we work him into the mix, that we're good, right? But like Yeldon's been okay. He's been solid, And I mean, I wonder if, because it's not really right to say that Yeldon's the problem or anything like that, right? It's more that, like, I guess the threat of Fournette, the attention that Fournette takes up, like, that's what makes the rest of Jacksonville's offense a little bit better. And I think they're really missing that. I don't know if Hyde can provide that. I think, but maybe. He's a good player. And he's not having a bad year by any stretch. And Jacksonville's otherwise a pretty good team. They might be one steady running back away from being a really good team again.
I agree. And then I think Fournette's really bumming them out. The injury isn't helping. And I think they have some wide receivers. They have some skills, but the quarterbacking is so bad. And I like how we ended the episode on some random spontaneous Jaguars conversation.
Well, you said you'd rather own Bears, and I'm trying to save you from that, man.
Yeah. Basically, I don't think I want to have either of those teams. So I'm not going to say they're in the Bills-Titans territory, but there are bye weeks coming up. So some teams will have to rely on Bears and Jaguars. But
Here, I do have a final thought, actually.
Yeah,
granted, we talked about a lot of fringe players, but that's what we do. This is a show, right? But, like, try not to concern yourself with every, like, is this a hot waiver move? Is this the new pickup? Like, try not to, because, like, they're all fringe players. One or some of them will, like, turn out to be viable starters. But, like, instead of, like, focusing more on the bottom of the barrel, you should be trying to take what you have and package them and try to trade for better players.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, worrying in your lineup, like, oh, should I start Matt Breida or Eno Smith.
I was thinking Eno Smith. Yeah.
Instead of worrying about that, you should be like, should I trade for Todd Gurley or should I trade for Alvin Kamara? You know what I mean? Like, you should be like, have some self-esteem, guys. You deserve the best players. Go out and get them.
I feel the waiver wire that's great advice, and I second that, because the waiver wire has been, I feel, extra weak this year.
Well, it's because it's so diluted with kind of, sort of, just okay. Yeah. Ownable, but not really startable players.
You're Peyton Barbers.
You're Peyton Barbers, every wide receiver in the world. Like, take your pick. You know what I mean? Tight ends that'll get you 4 points. Like, take your pick. It's like, quit stressing about any of those guys. Like, if you have to pick one of them, just pick one of them. Yeah. You know, like, just who cares? You don't need to. Like. Do that with studs that you're trying to acquire. Do that with guys that you're trying to figure out who's gonna win you a championship. You know what I mean? Like, do I have what it takes to get a guy like Todd Gurley? Is Todd Gurley even worth it, or do I got to worry about him being rested or his playoff schedule? Is Ingram a threat to Kamara, or is the Kamara owner worried and should I pounce on him? Like, these are the things that you should be thinking about. Yeah. Quit worrying about this, like, garbage ass mediocre players. There's a lot of pretty good football players. Like, don't worry about them. You don't want a pretty good team. You want the best team.
Try and smart your opponents. Try and make a nice package.
Yeah. Go for it, guys. Go for it. Try to win your league. Yeah. Don't try not to lose. Try to win.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not going to say you're not going to win your league with Tyler Boyd, but you have a better chance of winning your league with a better player.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, great that you have Tyler Boyd. Hopefully that helps you in week 9 when you're bench somebody else who's on bye, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, let's be real, guys. Let's be real.
Well, I got to go. My cat is getting antsy, which is why what makes us the unintangibles. So, Mo, take us out.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again. It's been good to be back. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again soon. We hope to see you then.